Do you folks remember Democrat Tim Ryan of Ohio? He originally ran against J.D. Vance for his Senate seat in 2022. J.D. Vance defeated him, and there's a possibility that if Ryan had beat Vance, then Vance would never be vice president because he never would have held political office and Trump would be less likely to pick him to be VP. But Ryan, I had him originally beating Vance as my prediction, and unfortunately I had to take the L on that one, so I will admit to that. But the Plain Dealer Cleveland reports Democrat Tim Ryan eyes 2026 Ohio governor's race despite earlier denials. That is interesting because Vivek Ramaswamy is also running for Ohio governor. So Democratic ex-U.S. Representative Tim Ryan is seriously considering running for Ohio governor in 2026 as he ramps up TV and in-person appearances, according to a close advisor. Ryan's move comes after he told the Plain Dealer/Cleveland.com last summer that he wasn't interested in running for office in 2026 because of his lucrative gigs with the cryptocurrency and natural gas industries and desire to coach his 10-year-old son's sports teams. Isn't that wholesome? But Dennis Willard, Ryan's communications advisor, said in an interview that the 2022 U.S. Senate nominee has changed his tune. Quote, "He really has a lot of vision for things he wants to do if he would become governor," Willard said. "I think he sees the governor's office also as an opportunity to really have an impact on the future of Ohio." If he decides to run, Ryan would be the second Democrat to enter the race for governor. Dr. Amy Acton, the former state health director, launched her campaign last January. During the past few months, Ryan has ramped up his national TV appearances, including on HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher in February, where he waved off Maher's questioning about a potential gubernatorial run. Oh, how the times have changed, Mr. Ryan. So Ohio had a governor, Mike DeWine. He's a Republican, but he's a more liberal Republican, actually, which is pretty interesting. So does Ohio really want to veer hard right? I mean, maybe they do because they elected J.D. Vance in 2022. But they don't seem to be impervious to electing a Democrat necessarily. During the past few months, Ryan has ramped up his national TV appearances, including on HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher. He's also starting to accept speaking engagements in Ohio. He spoke about ex-President Joe Biden's legacy last month at the University of Mount Union and Alliance, and he's slated to attend a local Democratic fundraising dinner in Champaign County this Thursday. I did not hear him talk about Biden's legacy, but I'd be interested in hearing what he has to say if he's going to go scorched earth and be like, this guy really screwed things up. He should not have run for a second term. Or if he's like more deferential, like, hey, cool, he fixed things, and in some ways he did, but he also humiliated himself. Ryan himself hasn't returned phone calls over the past couple months seeking comment about his 2026 plans. While Willard emphasized that Ryan hasn't made any decision yet about whether to enter the governor's race, Ryan himself dashed off a social media post Friday, expressing confidence that if he did, he would defeat Vivek Ramaswamy, the frontrunner in the GOP primary. Quote, "If I decided to run, which I haven't, I'd beat Ramaswamy by 5 points at least," Ryan asserted in the post. Okay, dude, that is ambitious. I like that. He added that he would probably win a bunch of counties along the Ohio River that have dramatically shifted more Republican during the past 15 years. Ryan represented the Youngstown area in the U.S. House for 20 years, unsuccessfully challenging Nancy Pelosi for House Speaker in 2016 and briefly running for president in 2020. Yeah, it was not very successful, his run for president. He got scorched quite a bit on that debate stage. He then ran a surprisingly competitive race for Senate in 2022, losing to J.D. Vance by about 6 percentage points. Since losing the Senate race and leaving Congress, Ryan moved from Niles to suburban Columbus, taking a job with a refrigerant company, serving as an advisor to the natural gas and cryptocurrency industries, and becoming a fellow at the University of Chicago's Institute for Politics. The Democratic slate for 2026 is still forming up, even as a host of Republicans have already made pronouncements about their intentions to run for statewide office. Yeah, this guy would be solid, I think. A little more centrist, He's not the guy for 2028, that's for sure. And I think the 2020 primary taught us that, but there was some serious momentum behind him in 2022. It didn't quite materialize on election day. There were a lot of people that I actually know from Ohio who were really excited about his campaign, even though he's not the most progressive guy. And these were progressive people that I knew who were like, yeah, no, Tim Ryan's cool, actually. Even though in 2020, he certainly wasn't a darling among progressives. That would be someone like Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren. But yeah, he's an interesting character. Quote, "He wants to be there for his son as he grows up," Willard said of Ryan. Yeah, gotta balance that politics and that home life thing. Being a father is a very important role in life. So I don't begrudge him for not running. But yeah, I think he would give Vivek Ramaswamy a run for his money. I don't know who would do better between Ryan and Ramaswamy. I feel like it would be closer than the Ryan Vance race. But both Vance and Ramaswamy are pretty talented sophists. You know, they're smart, they're law school educated, they're just quick on their feet. Ramaswamy is a little more smiley and upbeat, as Vance is a little bit more shrewd. But I think it would be an interesting debate to watch. We didn't really see Vivek Ramaswamy debate Democratic politicians. We just saw him in the Republican primary going after people, you know, doing stuff like Nikki equals corrupt. Remember when he held up that little piece of paper that said Nikki equals corrupt on the debate stage up against Nikki Haley, and you know DeSantis was there and all that. And yeah, he was just licking Trump's boots the entire time. So, you know, Ryan called Vance a Trump ass kisser. I'm really interested to see what he calls Vivek Ramaswamy. A Trump ass licker, maybe. There's definitely some more ass kissing on behalf of Vivek Ramaswamy towards Trump, actually, which is weird because Ramaswamy ran against Trump and Vance didn't. But I think Ramaswamy is more of a Trump butt kisser than JD Vance even is. So I want to see Tim Ryan roast him to his face for that on the debate stage, and it would be pretty glorious. Let me know what you think in the comments below about the possibility of Tim Ryan running for U.S. Senate. Like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Did I say U.S. Senate? I meant Ohio governor. But you know, he might run for U.S. Senate again. Tim Ryan for Ohio governor. What do you think? Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you in my next video.